They fired me for documenting a medication error. Then they deleted my report from the hospital system, sanitized the records, made it look like the mistake never happened. They thought erasing the digital file meant erasing the truth. But they forgot one thing. I'm old school. I still write things down on paper. And that crumpled yellow sheet I handed to a patient's mother became the evidence that cost them $200 million. But before I tell you about that moment in court when everything collapsed, when the hospital's lawyers went silent, when the judge's face changed from skeptical to furious, let me take you back to the beginning, to the day I chose truth over my career. My name is Dr. Elias Thorne. I'm 60 years old. I've been a physician for 37 years. And this is the story of how a piece of paper destroyed a cover-up. I worked at Mercy General Hospital in Detroit. Internal medicine. Night shifts mostly. I prefer nights. Quieter. More time with each patient. I'm what younger doctors call old school. I still carry a fountain pen. I still write discharge instructions by hand for patients to take home. I believe when you write something personally, patients pay more attention than to a computer printout. My colleagues think it's charming, outdated, but harmless. They were wrong about the harmless part. It was a Tuesday night in November. Cold rain against the windows. I was 4 hours into a 12-hour shift when they brought in Marcus Washington. 19 years old, African-American kid. Thin, scared, mother holding his hand. He's been throwing up all day, his mother Teresa said. Dizzy, can't keep anything down. I reviewed his chart. Marcus had been in the ER 3 days earlier with a minor infection. They'd prescribed an antibiotic and sent him home. Standard stuff. Should have been fine. But he wasn't fine. I examined him. Rapid heartbeat. Low blood pressure. Confusion. These weren't symptoms of his original infection. Marcus, what medication did they give you? I asked. His mother pulled out a pill bottle. This one, ceftriaxone. I froze. I pulled up Marcus's full medical history in the system. Buried on page 3 of his allergy list. Severe reaction to cephalosporin antibiotics. Ceftriaxone is a cephalosporin. The ER had prescribed him medication he was deathly allergic to. How long has he been taking this? I asked Teresa. 3 days. 3 times a day like they said. 9 doses of a medication that could kill him. I immediately started treatment. For fluids, antihistamines, steroids to counteract the reaction. Marcus was lucky. A few more doses, and we'd be looking at anaphylaxis. Organ failure. Death. After stabilizing him, I sat down to document everything. This is where most doctors would carefully word things. Patient experienced adverse reaction. Unexpected response to treatment. But that's not what happened. What happened was medical error. Someone in that ER didn't check the allergy list. They prescribed a drug that should never have been given. And if I didn't document it clearly, it could happen again. To Marcus or someone else. So I wrote in the chart, clear and explicit, patient suffered severe adverse reaction to ceftriaxone due to documented cephalosporin allergy. Original prescription was made in error without proper allergy screening. Treatment adjusted accordingly. I flagged it as a critical safety incident, the kind that triggers a hospital review. I also did something else. I wrote out discharge instructions for Teresa on my prescription pad, by hand. Old school. Marcus is recovering well. He experienced a medication error. He was given ceftriaxone despite being allergic to cephalosporins. Watch for these symptoms. I listed them. If any occur, return immediately. Do not take any cephalosporin antibiotics in the future. I signed it, dated it, gave it to Teresa. Keep this, I told her, in case he sees another doctor. They need to know what happened. She folded it carefully and put it in her purse. Marcus stayed overnight for observation. By morning, he was stable. I finished my notes and went home. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. 2 days later, I was called into the office of Dr. Karen Sharp, clinical director, mid-40s, always impeccably dressed, always calculating. Dr. Thorne, we need to discuss the Marcus Washington case. The medication error? Yes, I documented it thoroughly. Has the ER review been scheduled? Her expression didn't change. That's the issue. Your documentation is problematic. Problematic? It's accurate. It's inflammatory. You wrote medication error and prescription made an error in an official medical record. Because that's what happened. Dr. Thorne, I need you to revise that documentation. Change medication error to unexpected allergic reaction. Remove any language that suggests hospital negligence. I stared at her. Karen, that's not what happened. The ER prescribed a drug the patient was documented as being allergic to. That's the definition of an error. It's also the definition of a lawsuit. The patient is fine. No permanent harm. We need to protect the hospital. We need to protect future patients. If we don't document this correctly, if we document it the way you did, we're admitting liability. Legal is very clear on this. Legal doesn't dictate medical documentation. I documented the truth. Her voice hardened. Dr. Thorne, I'm not asking. I'm instructing you to revise the chart. Change the language. Remove the inflammatory statements. No. The patient needs to know what happened. His future doctors need to know. This information could save his life. I'm not changing it. Karen stood up. Then you leave me no choice. You're being placed on administrative leave pending a review of your adherence to hospital protocols. You're suspending me for documenting a medical error correctly. I'm suspending you for insubordination and creating legal liability for this institution. I left her office knowing my career at Mercy General was over. What I didn't know was that Karen wasn't done. That afternoon, she accessed the medical records system. Using her administrative privileges, she edited my documentation. Every mention of medication error became unexpected reaction. Prescription made an error became unforeseen allergic response. She sanitized the entire chart, made it look like an unfortunate accident. No one's fault. She deleted my original notes from the backup logs. Then she officially terminated my employment for failure to follow hospital documentation protocols and insubordination. I was escorted out by security that evening. 37 years of medicine, gone in one day. I thought about fighting it, filing a complaint, going to the medical board. But without access to the hospital system, I had no proof. It was my word against their official records. I felt helpless. 2 weeks passed. I was home, applying to other hospitals when my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Dr. Thorne? This is Teresa Washington, Marcus's mother. Teresa, how is Marcus? Her voice was shaking. He's in the ICU at Detroit Metro Hospital. My heart stopped. What happened? He got an infection again. Different hospital. They looked at his records from Mercy General. Gave him, I don't know the name, but he had a terrible reaction. He's critical. What did they give him? Ceftonir, another cephalosporin. They'd looked at the sanitized Mercy General records, seen no allergy warnings, and prescribed the exact same class of drug. Teresa, where are you? At Metro. Dr. Thorne, I don't understand. You told me he was allergic, but the hospital records say it was just a random reaction. Stay there. I'm coming. I drove to Detroit Metro Hospital. Found Teresa in the ICU waiting room. Marcus was intubated, fighting for his life. The attending physician, Dr. James Porter, was reviewing the case when I arrived. Dr. Thorne, he recognized me from medical conferences. What are you doing here? This patient was under my care 2 weeks ago. Did you check his records for Mercy General? Of course. No allergy flags. Just a single adverse reaction, cause unknown. We took proper precautions, but he reacted severely to ceftonir because he's allergic to all cephalosporins. I documented it explicitly in his chart 2 weeks ago. James pulled up the records. I don't see that anywhere because they deleted it. I explained everything. The original error. My documentation. Karen's order to change it. The sanitized records. James's face went dark. They edited his medical records? That's not just negligence. That's criminal. And I can't prove it. They fired me. Deleted my access. Teresa was crying. This is my fault. I should have said something. But I thought the hospitals talk to each other. I thought they'd know. I remembered something. Teresa, do you still have that paper I gave you? The discharge instructions. She looked confused. The yellow paper? Yes. Do you have it? She dug through her purse, pulled out a folded, crumpled yellow sheet. My handwriting. My signature. My explicit documentation of the medication error. This, I said, this is proof. Teresa and her husband filed a lawsuit against Mercy General Hospital 3 weeks later. Medical negligence, falsification of records, corporate cover-up. The hospital's legal team was confident. They had clean digital records. A terminated employee with an axe to grind. No evidence. The trial was set for 6 months later. I was called as a witness. The hospital's lawyers painted me as a disgruntled former employee, fired for insubordination, angry, making wild accusations. Karen Sharp testified under oath. Dr. Thorne was terminated for repeated violations of documentation protocols. His characterization of the Marcus Washington case was medically inaccurate and legally reckless. We corrected his errors and properly documented an unexpected allergic reaction. She was smooth, confident. The jury seemed to believe her. The hospital presented their pristine digital records. No medication error, no negligence, just an unfortunate allergic reaction that no one could have predicted. The plaintiff's attorney, Robert Shun, looked worried. I could see the case slipping away. Then he called me to the stand. The hospital's lawyer, James Whitmore, cross-examined me aggressively. Dr. Thorne, you were fired from Mercy General for insubordination, correct? Yes. And you have a financial interest in the outcome of this trial, don't you? Revenge against the hospital that terminated you. I have an interest in the truth. The truth? The hospital's official records contradict your version of events. Can you provide any evidence, any physical evidence, that supports your claims? That's when Robert Chin stood up. Your Honor, if I may. The judge nodded. Robert walked to Teresa Washington in the gallery. She handed him something, a crumpled yellow piece of paper. Robert approached the bench. Your Honor, I'd like to enter Plaintiff's Exhibit 47. Discharge instructions written by Dr. Elias Thorne on the night of Marcus Washington's treatment at Mercy General Hospital. He projected it on the courtroom screen. My handwriting filled the display. Discharge instructions. Marcus Washington date. November 12, 2023. Patient experienced medication error. Was prescribed ceftriaxone despite documented cephalosporin allergy. Severe adverse reaction resulted. Critical. Patient is allergic to all cephalosporin antibiotics. Do not prescribe ceftriaxone, ceftonir, cephalexin, or related drugs. Watch for symptoms: difficulty breathing, rapid heartbeat, confusion, vomiting. If symptoms recur, return to ER immediately. Signed, Dr. Elias Thorne, MD license #. MI 8763 4-inch. The courtroom went silent. Robert spoke. This document was handwritten by Dr. Thorne and given directly to Mrs. Washington on the night of her son's treatment. Note the date, November 12th, the same date as the hospital's digital records. He pulled up the hospital's record on the split screen. Now, let's look at what the hospital's official records say about that same date. The hospital record appeared. Patient experienced unexpected allergic reaction to antibiotic treatment. Cause unknown. No medication error occurred. The contrast was devastating. Robert continued. Dr. Thorne documented a medication error in writing by hand on November 12th. But the hospital's digital records for that same date claim no error occurred. He turned to Karen Sharp. Dr. Sharp, can you explain this discrepancy? Karen's face had gone pale. The digital record is what's official. But Dr. Thorne's handwritten note is dated the same day. Before you fired him, before you claim he became a disgruntled employee. He could have written that later. Mrs. Washington, Robert called Teresa to the stand. When did Dr. Thorne give you this paper? That night, November 12th, right before Marcus was discharged. He told me to keep it in case Marcus saw another doctor. And did you keep it? Yes, in my purse. I showed it to the doctors at Metro Hospital, but they said the official records were what mattered. Robert turned back to Karen. Dr. Sharp, you testified that Dr. Thorne's documentation was medically inaccurate, but his handwritten notes match what actually happened to Marcus. He was given a drug he was allergic to. He had a severe reaction. He was given the same class of drug again at a different hospital because your sanitized records didn't warn them and nearly died. The hospital doesn't control what other hospitals You control what information they had access to. You deleted Dr. Thorne's accurate documentation and replaced it with a lie. And that lie nearly killed a 19-year-old patient. The judge interrupted. Dr. Sharp, did you alter Dr. Thorne's medical documentation? Karen's lawyer whispered something to her. She took the Fifth Amendment. The judge's expression changed. This hearing is adjourned. I'm referring this matter to the State Attorney General for criminal investigation. The trial reconvened 2 weeks later. The hospital's legal strategy had collapsed. The state AG filed charges against Karen Sharp: falsification of medical records, obstruction of justice, perjury. The hospital, facing criminal conspiracy charges, offered a settlement: $200 million. The Washingtons accepted. Karen Sharp lost her medical license. She was sentenced to 2 years in prison for perjury and medical fraud. Mercy General Hospital went through a complete administrative overhaul. 3 board members resigned, and I received a call. Dr. Thorne, this is David Morrison. I'm CEO of Trinity Health Systems. Trinity Health was Mercy General's biggest competitor in Detroit. 6 hospitals, statewide network. I've been following your case closely. What you did, documenting the truth despite pressure to lie, that's the kind of integrity we need in healthcare. Thank you. I'd like to offer you a position: Director of Patient Safety for our entire network. You'd oversee all our medical documentation protocols. Make sure what happened at Mercy never happens here. What's the salary? $300,000 a year, plus full benefits and signing bonus. Double what I made at Mercy General. And you'd have complete authority over medical record policies. No administrator can override your clinical documentation. I accepted immediately. Today, I oversee patient safety for 6 hospitals. I've implemented strict protocols. No administrative editing of clinical records without physician approval. Paper backups for critical safety incidents. Mandatory error reporting without fear of retaliation. Marcus Washington made a full recovery. He's in college now. Pre-med, actually. He wants to be a doctor because of what happened to him. Teresa and I stay in touch. She sent me a Christmas card last year with a photo of Marcus. Healthy, alive, because one doctor chose truth over convenience. I still write discharge instructions by hand, on yellow prescription paper, with my fountain pen. My colleagues still think it's charming. Outdated, but now they understand it's also powerful. Because in a digital world where truth can be deleted with a keystroke, paper becomes permanent. They thought erasing my login meant erasing my legacy. They thought sanitizing the server meant sanitizing history. They forgot that real integrity leaves a paper trail that no system administrator can erase. Karen Sharp made a choice that night. She chose protecting the hospital's reputation over protecting patients. I made a different choice. I chose truth, and I put in writing. That crumpled yellow sheet of paper cost them $200 million. But more importantly, it saved a young man's life. So here's the lesson I learned, that I now teach every resident who rotates through Trinity Health. Always do the right thing. Document the truth, and put it in writing, because when the lies collapse, and they always collapse, the truth will be the only thing left standing. And if that truth is written in your hand, signed with your name, dated and witnessed, no one can delete it. No one can sanitize it. No one can make it disappear. The truth has a way of surviving, even on a crumpled piece of yellow paper at the bottom of a mother's purse. Especially then,